Hi, Scorpio. Here we go. Woo! Tapping into this energy is like, let me go do some lines of cocaine and trade stocks. Yeah! Wow, you are so focused on work, huh? Okay, all right. Let's not neglect the elders and the family and the children. But okay, work it is. Fine, great. Let's look at it. Take a deep breath, Scorpio. You have all the energy in the world and you want to conquer everything you see. People, work, projects, your bank account. You want to see all of it expanding. You want your way, and it seems like you're gonna get it, which is great. But I don't want you to get so focused on getting it that you're lonely when you make it. So that's what we have to avoid. And yes, I'm being fidgety because my hair does this weird thing in Leo season where it just expands. So, fixed fire. You want to use it. You want to manifest. You're ready. You've been ready. Cancer season was like, okay, can we get this done with? Like, great. Everyone has feelings. Wonderful. We're all on the same page. Can we move along now? There's money to make. There's worlds to conquer. There's hearts to break. You can break some hearts right now if you want to, but you can also break your own heart by being too picky and too pushy and too critical. Especially around the full moon. Don't lose your shit around the full moon, please. Every other day of the month, go for it. You know how I'm like, oh, Scorpio, be careful with this, because no, don't be careful with anything. Go for all of it. You got it. You can do it. You have the energy, you have the drive, you have the will, you have the astrology, the sky is backing you up. Go for it. It's fine. It's just that as soon as the sun moves into Virgo season, as soon as we move into Virgo season, you're going to look at everything you did in Leo season and say, wouldn't it be so great to be able to talk about this at a family dinner? But if you ignore your family for a month, they probably won't want to have dinner with you. So, crush it, but also call your mom. Crush it, but also make your family dinner, you know? Stuff like that. 1 second. So, it's the Strength card in it's the Strength card in reverse. So the card that fell, and it is your first card, is the Strength card in reverse. So if you're dealing with a Leo, in particular in Leo season, you're not really checking for them, which I can understand because you're both playing a game of ego this month. Also, the Strength in reverse, moving into Leo season, is about not letting an already ego-centered season get to you too much. You want to temper all this fire, all this power, all this magic you have at your fingertips. You can get basically what you want from people this month. But usually what I find that happens with Scorpios when they can get whatever they want is that they get miserable. So, well, because it's isolating, it's lonely. Not everybody can get what they want. You end up in a very rare company when you can just procure whatever you want. After a while, you feel isolated by it. And by the end of August, you may feel like, damn, I got a lot of stuff done. I really crushed it. But like, I miss my friends. I miss my family. Strength in reverse. Keep track of your brood. Be the loving housewife for your family. And be the CEO corporate vampire at work if you need to. But Strength in reverse is about needing to protect that which the lion values most, which is the pride. So good. Also, it's about letting the ego go too far, but we already talked about that. Then we have the 8 of Pentacles and the 9 of Wands. Fantastic. Work hard. More will come to you. More will be revealed to you. So much more is in store for you. Even more energy, even more opportunities. And all you have to do is focus. And you're focused. So great. We're all on the same page this month. Fantastic. I know there's a little part of you that wants to slip off to the side and be sad about stuff, but there's really no reason. I know there's a little part of you that wants to make it to the top and have all the money right now. Also, probably not the best move for you, because when you get things too easily, you know how you get. So, family stuff, relationship stuff, love stuff, it's a little sideways. Work stuff, money, opportunity, killer instinct, right on. So how can you translate that killer instinct into something that your family or your friends or your loved ones can benefit from? Well, you could use the money you earn on them. That's one way, but we've tried that trick before. You could do them the great service of turning off your technology, your social media, and giving them all your attention for small amounts of time here and there. That would be ideal. The Tower and the 3 of Pentacles, if you are married or if you are in a committed relationship that is very serious, this having to focus on family and taking a moment out of your I'm crushing life thing is very important, because your established relationship needs your attention. If you're single, this does not apply to you. But if you have an established relationship with someone that you would like to marry, you need to do some damage control, because as soon as they see you go into this crazy work mode, they're like, oh, this is what this person is like? I don't think I can deal with this long term. They don't understand that you're just going through something, that you're not gonna be like this all the time. So, or just, send them the link to the video. Because what you don't want to do is end up fighting about it. Because if you end up fighting about it, you're going to be fighting from a very dominant position that has to do a lot with your ego. And that defeats the purpose of what we're saying. So even people who are trying to get your attention are sabotaging you in a way, because they're going to bring it out of you. They're going to pull the obnoxious stuff out of you by asking for that which they can't ask for. You have to give it freely. No one can ask you to love them or pay attention to them or make them a priority. You have to want to do it, or else we know you're not going to do it. Again, that's not even a read. That's just facts. Just saying. Let's keep going. Deep breath. Okay, let's keep going. So far we have Strength in reverse, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands. Love it. 3 of Pentacles in the Tower. Yeah, you gotta take care of the family. Gotta do that running a million miles an hour and still having breakfast with your kids thing. And it will be draining. And so what are we looking for here? We're looking for a moment of rest. We're looking for wherever you can get your few minutes of rest, you're going to take them. Wherever you can take a weekend to relax, you're going to take it. If you have a choice between working and having dinner with your family, just weigh it out. How many days in a row have you spent sacrificing that dinner for working? I'm not saying it has to be equal, but you gotta let them in a little, or else they're gonna get upset. So the card that fell, you see, it's literally like, you can see it on camera getting bigger. I'm not doing anything to it. I haven't touched it. It just like keeps growing this way. Leo season. Okay, here we go. So the card that fell was the Knight of Swords in reverse. So communication will get very spiky after the 15th if you don't find not a balance, but a ratio. Not a balance. You can't balance out this kind of energy. You need to work. You need to do this. You need to conquer. You need to focus on that. Good. But there has to be like a 6-to-1 or a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 5 meetings, there's, 1 dinner. For every 6 days, that you're working straight through the evening, there's a Sunday where you're at home all day. There has to be a ratio that you play out in your mind, that you stick to, because no one is going to ask you to make them a priority until it's too late. And by the time they ask you to do it, they're asking in a way that's just going to make you mad. And we're going to end up falling into a toxic cycle with somebody who's probably really worth it and could be great for you. So let's not do that. Sacrificing sleep is not a good idea, but I see you doing it this month for all these other wins. And you know what? Great, because when we get to Virgo season at the end of August, you can sit back for a second and let the Virgo energy just take over you without panicking. You're not worried about being organized. You're not worried about anything because you took care of your stuff. The cards that almost fell are the 6 of Swords and the 4 of Wands. You are managing in many ways to purge yourself of your toxic qualities and to move towards a really happy life full of connection and love and celebration and camaraderie, and it's beautiful and it's there and it's yours. And this leaving is just you walking away from the parts of you that kept you in that old life, that kept you in that stagnant place. You feel yourself different. You know you're different. You can feel your luck is different. And we want to keep shedding whatever exoskeletons we need to let go of to keep that new momentum moving forward towards a very healthy, happy place. But remember, we have to make sure there's something to row towards, which is why we need to do the little bit of rationing out of ourselves that we need to do to our friends and family so they don't start to feel like we're ignoring them. If you are purposefully isolating yourself and ignoring people and moving away from everyone and leaving everyone behind, or if you're so into your career or your work that you're actively ignoring your spouse, your significant other, your kids, just understand that it's not that what you're doing is wrong. You're right. You know you should, and you're right for doing it, but it will cost you. Well, then what do? Do ratio, ration it out. We have some outcome cards here. The Fool and the Knight of Cups. Move boldly, move bravely into your new feelings of mojo. Libra's got it, Aries has got it, you've got it, Taurus has got it. Uranus goes retrograde in your house of relationships in a few weeks. Actually, it's a few days. Gives you a chance to get into your, I've been doing it right, I'm still doing it right. I can sit back and really relax into who I am and be brave about it and be open about it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna make you so solid. There are people asking to marry you. There are people who are like, let's take the plunge, let's get serious, go for it. Or you recently got married, if you have Scorpio placements and you're just like, yay, you're having the best time. If you recently got married and you have Scorpio placements, be a little bit careful about your spending. It's just, it looks a little excessive. And I know you're working hard, but still. I know that's what you're. Bottom of the deck here before we go is the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Swords, and the 7 of Swords. Oh, how fantastic. Virgo season's gonna be fun. And underneath that, the self-sabotage, feeling like you have everything under control to the point of almost being cocky about it, and then feeling terrible because you realize that you have to experience that success alone, or that you have been deceived because you were so busy. And then the ego comes out. If you're dealing with an Aries, that person is beyond pained, and there's a conversation that needs to happen. It needs to happen pretty quickly. But that's all in the extended. Let's look at these cards first. See what we got. It's a pretty eventful reading. You're doing great. That's the thing. It's like, am I like nitpicking and pointing out the family stuff? It's going to seem like that now at the beginning of the month, but towards the end of the month, you'll be like, boy, I'm glad I did that. Because if I'd missed that dinner, if I'd missed that thing, now I couldn't miss this thing, and I really need to go to this work thing. So, you know, you see what I'm saying here? It's gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off. Just every time you're confronted with a work and a family thing at the same time, make a mental note of how much you're choosing one over the other. That's it. It's very simple advice this month, because everything else, you got it. You're doing well. So let's speak on that a little bit. You are doing really well. And you know what happens when you're doing really well? You start to feel a little bit lonely. You start to feel lonely because you are the type that likes to share your success. Understand that walking this balance between loved ones, friends, supporters, and however it is that you make your money, whatever it is that drives you, this is a lesson that you learn over a lifetime. This is something that you perfect with time. It's an evolving thing. You can't master it, you can't conquer it like you can do with work. You can, you know, fillet people in a boardroom and still have to let your 12-year-old daughter or niece cry it out when she thinks you're being an asshole. You gotta do it. You gotta do the hard, shiny exoskeleton and, you know, all the mean stinger stuff. You gotta do that, and you gotta be super soft and open and loving with the people that love you. Because we love you. And we like when you're all soft and gooey. It's cute. But we will be mean to you and super rude if you don't give us attention. I'm just speaking for the collective. So if you're watching because you're trying to figure out how to deal with Scorpio, sorry, I just remembered that I said that. If you're cross-watching for a Scorpio, they're busy. They're super busy, and they're not trying to be a dick, and they're not trying to ignore you. They're just super busy, and their whole energy is set up in a way where they can't see anything except what they want to conquer. So if you want to be something they pay attention to, play hard to get. 'Tis the season! Scorpio, I love you, stupid. See you in a second. Hi, Scorpio. All right. Let's have a look. If you're dealing with a Leo, the fixed energy between the two of you might be getting a little toxic, especially if you've been working on stuff together. If you have a partnership with a Leo that you feel may be coming to an end, something that has worked very well, but there were too many extenuating circumstances. Also, you may feel that some of your friends are, not even just your friends, your family, anyone you trust, may be going out of their way to speak to you in a way that you don't appreciate. You feel like people are just not being very respectful. And it also may seem to a lot of you like people are saying things to you that you know they're going to regret. And you also know that they're not going to be able to take them back. And it's just a sad situation, because I feel that you guys can be so sensitive but also so big on loyalty that when I feel like people have done certain things recently that are just beyond the pale of what you can tolerate, and it has moved you to make some big decisions, and perhaps to make some decisions that you never would have imagined that you would take. However, regardless of how you get there, communication is what drives you away from and continues to isolate you from people. It seems like every time you wanted to communicate, there was this Cancer season Mercury retrograde nonsense going on, and everyone was acting like an idiot.
and speaking like an idiot. But here we are, and although Leo season is best ignored by you in some ways, in many ways, it can be a time to work hard, to have that work pay off and bring you even more success you can't even begin to imagine now. But the couple, the family life, the personal, interpersonal relationships do see their tower moment coming up. There is some heated convos, there is some heated communication, and there may even be, for some of you, such a sense of frustration that you're like, you know what, I don't want to do this then, forget it. Like, I'm not a bad person, I'm really just legitimately working, but if you can't give me a month to just focus on what I need to do, instead of being, you know, this like black hole for attention, like, you guys don't need the attention that everybody else is looking for this month. That's the thing about Leo season. That's why it's funny that it's in reverse. Yes, it is Leo. It's the sun. It's the center of everything. It's, you know, related to the ego and this and that. But usually what ends up happening with people in Leo season is that they overcompensate for the fact that they have no idea how to be in the spotlight. And of course that turns into fuckery. You, on the other hand, are very capable of being in the spotlight and are, some would argue, most would argue, in the spotlight at all times. So Leo season in general can be trying, because it's like you just feel like looking at everybody you see and being like, can you calm down, please? Yeah, no, I get it. You're very excited, but can you calm down, please? So when your family, friends, children, co-workers act up about how much more attention they need from you because they're trying to fulfill their own Leo season favorite worst nightmares, you can be focusing on that which you know is bringing you dividend after dividend. And anyone that gets too spicy with the comments and with the communication, might be time to leave them alone a little bit. Row your boat towards the happiness that comes from being amongst people who don't judge you, who let you take the risks and change and evolve as you need to, and who can see the person you're already becoming. It's very beautiful. It's a time of great Saturnian productive material growth, hard work, focus, but also rebirth, contentment, the raising of self-esteem. Very good, Scorpio. Okay. All the tickets are below. There are tickets for London, tickets for LA, tickets for Oakland, all of that, plus your PayPal link and your Vimeo link. Let's get into the extended right now. Let's start with the 9 of Cups, 10 of Swords, 7 of Swords. Yeah. We're going to clarify each one. We're going to go one by one, okay? Because that's, I'm like, yeah, I can't unpack that in this. Then we'll be here for another 30 minutes. Okay, I'll be right back. Loves you.